Hey, what's up, everyone? Just another update on the Megatouch monstrosity. um, let's see. Last video, I was talking about how I was working on these RXs, and all of the monitors are basically dead. And I had taken apart three of them, kind of looked at all the components, the main board, the inverter, all those things, and I was able to get one of them completely up and running, but the other two were, toast with the most. So I took that monitor and here it is. So I threw it back together with this RX, cleaned everything up. I did, the normal TLC, the normal upgrades, solid state drive, upgraded the memory, better fans, all the things. And so, by all intents and purposes, this guy is done. And I brought it out on our annual guys camping trip this last weekend, so it got a ton of use. And this thing's rock solid. So, by all intents and purposes, this one's done. But where does that leave me with the other ones? Well, if you recall in the last video, I had found a very inexpensive LED monitor that had almost the exact same specs, same viewing angle, the same resolution, the same display area, everything pretty much lined up. So I had figured that I would order one of those and see what, basically see if it would work. And lo and behold, it does. Everything matched up perfectly. So it's this monitor here. Again, very inexpensive LED monitor, but the nice thing about this is that when I cracked it open, and I'll show you a picture, but I put that one and the original side by side, and everything lined up absolutely perfectly. Even the frame, the screw holes, everything was absolutely perfect. And so I've actually got it inside here, and it fit just like a glove, mounted perfectly. I only had to improvise a little bit with this power/AV board, but otherwise, it's just got the monitor controls. I just remote mounted those, and yeah, this worked out good. I have this on a couple of PCB standoffs, the little feet here, and that ended up working out just fine. But yeah, I'm super stoked that this works just great. And so obviously I've got a second one because since this works so well, I figured might as well grab another one. So that's my plan for right now, to solve the monitor issue. And these were like, I don't know, 90 bucks. I think I spent 92 or something like that shipped. And yeah, not the most highest quality monitor. These are really freaking light, but it does exactly what I need it to do. And since it's LED, it's a bit more evenly lit than the old LCD panels with their two lamps, or one in the case of that broken one. So very happy about that. I'm trying to think anything else. Oh yeah, so I found the hardware, if this will focus. Come on now. So remember I was looking for the hardware for the locks. Actually, the operator or the vendor had pulled all of the locks off these units, and I was kind of dreading that because it's very hard to find just that hardware. All these have a proprietary component to them, even though they use standard cabinet locks. But I talked to him, or I reached out to him, and he said that the guy that had pulled the locks put all the hardware in the coin boxes, the coin buckets here. Little did I know. And the funny thing is that one of these fell out. I think it was out of the broken one here, the parts machine, as I've been calling it. And I didn't know what the hell this was. And so I just set this off on the side here. Didn't think anything of it. But then when I went into the other coin buckets, these came out. And the funny thing is, too, the other reason I didn't know what they were is that there's no pictures of this stuff. In the manual, it just says open up the lock, but it doesn't actually show any images of what the cam looks like, how it works with the lock, or any of that stuff. So I didn't really know what this was. I finally found one photo from an old for sale ad that showed the door, the open unit from this angle, so I could see this sticking right in there like that. And I'm like, oh, of course, that makes sense, because the way that this works is that if you wanted to open it up, if the door was on top, you would turn the cam lock, because the lock is right here, and this thing would turn up, and that opens it up. And then when you turn it the other way, that closes it, because there's these 4 little latches here. So it's kind of one of those dumb moments. But, you know, I think eventually I would have probably went into those coin buckets. But, yeah, so there you have it. I have my hardware for the locks, and I believe the Aurora hardware is inside the door. So I should be fine as far as the locks go. But yeah, so things are moving. I'm hoping to get this guy. This one's for this unit here. So I still have to do all the TLC. I've got a plethora of parts here. I got my solid states, I've got fans, I've got extra memory. So I'm pretty much ready to go. I'm going to throw a new power supply in this one. I'm probably going to take this power supply, use it for the Aurora over here, that guy. I've got a different fan for that power supply to make it run quieter. But yeah, things are moving along. So I'm very, very optimistic that I'll get another 2 of these RXs going. And they're cool units. I really dig them. I like the form factor. I think they look real slick. I like the lighting on the sides. Yeah, they're really slick units. I think about the only thing that I'm just kind of, maybe it's a small nitpick, is just because they're widescreen and all these games are designed for a 4:3 aspect ratio, you end up with this little sidebar here, which will advertise games and stuff. And when you're playing games, sometimes that will go away and they'll center it. Sometimes it'll just show up like a leaderboard. So I guess it depends on the game. But otherwise, I really dig these. These are pretty slick, and I've always wanted to work on them. So yeah, I think that's about it for now. I think I'm hoping to have this one complete by the end of the week, and then move on to the 3rd one, and then I'll move on to the Aurora. That will probably take me the longest, because I got to recondition the joystick. Things are tighter. It's harder to access parts there, but yeah. So I should end up with 4 nicely refurbished Ions, and I still am not sure what I'm going to do with these. I keep going back and forth. If I should try to just make 1 out of the 3 of them. The only problem is that if I use these guys, I'm not entirely sure all the hardware will mount perfectly inside there, since these are older models, these Forces. And then the other thing is that there's no studs or anything, because these came out before the Ion did and weren't using joysticks. And so even though there's this indentation here, there's no studs or screw holes to mount a joystick. And without that, there are a handful of games that you can't play. But you know, that could be, you know, fairly minor. But worst case scenario, I'm going to pull the touchscreens out of here, save those for a potential future project. Maybe pull the power supplies, just see what I can salvage. But yeah, I mean, I got these for basically nothing, so it's not the end of the world, but it just kind of seems almost like a waste, doesn't it? I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyhow, yeah, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys in the next update. All right, take it easy.